Okay, hey folks, this is John S. Rhodes, and tonight we're going to be talking to John Cornetta and Frank Salinas all about Adswaps. Now, I don't know much about Adswaps. I don't know if you know much about Adswaps, but here's the scoop. These guys, both Frank and John, are what you would call experts in Adswaps. In a very, very short period of time, these guys have cranked up their list to ridiculous sizes. They are known as, these King Kong Godzilla type of guys in the Adswap market, okay, or the Adswap environment. Now, let's see if Frank and John are here. Frank, John, are you guys there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Frank Salinas is here.
Awesome, Frank. And John, are you there, buddy?
John Cornetta is standing by, ready to go.
Standing by. Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. Well, let's start with the thanks to everyone here. Thank you to everyone who's here. If you're hearing my voice, thank you so much for being here. You're in for a real treat tonight. We're really going to be talking a lot about the nuts and bolts of Adswaps, how they work, how to get started, and what's going to happen. So thank you so much for being here. Congratulations for being here as well, investing in your education, really trying to learn more and taking action. By the way, the number one way to take action is to take those notes and ask questions as we go, and more importantly, kind of wait if you can and ask questions at the end, okay? Because we're going to be available to answer questions, but very likely the question that you have is probably captured in this ridiculous mind map that we're going to go through with Frank and John. And John and Frank, guys, thank you so much for being here. Everyone is very excited. I've received quite a few emails from people saying they're really excited to learn about list building using Adswaps and getting that traffic at the push of a button, and everyone is just really, really excited. Now, the only real fact, as I hear it, now this might just be myth or legend, but the fact, or the thing that I've heard, John, is that you have a list of about 350,000 people. Is that true?
That's true.
That is true.
That's absolutely true.
So that's the way I wanted. That's a great way to start, guys. I mean, the fact that you have just a monster list is really, really incredible. But let's dig into the questions. So the very first question is really, who's using Adswaps? Who uses them? Because I know that some people don't use Adswaps. I mean, I don't use Adswaps. So who's really using Adswaps right now?
Well, I guess I'm just going to kind of take the lead here, and Frank, cut in whenever you want, or I don't know, we're going to talk over each other or whatnot. But I'll tell you how I came about it is list building to me started out as ad swapping. I didn't know any other way. Since then, of course, I've learned lots of ways through PPC and of course, putting out 100% affiliate products and WSO offers and things like that. But many people in the business are ad swapping, and there's no quicker way to build your list if you ad swap properly, and if you can think of it as a Jedi and just capitalize every single aspect of it. There's no quicker way to build your list, and the thing about it is that you're building your list with people who are on other marketers' lists. So these are people that you want on your list. They're already on other marketers' lists. They're used to getting emails. They're used to buying. They're used to participating. So these are the people that you want on your list.
So a couple of questions about the people, right? We're really under this who umbrella here. So the folks that are doing these ad swaps, like you found out about ad swaps and you just kind of dug in and took it to the extreme. And so one of the questions related to the who is about those partners, right? So if you want to go to the extreme, if you want to maximize this, if you want to go crazy with ad swaps, you're obviously doing that with other people who have lists. Now, are you doing that with one partner? Like, I know that you and Frank have hooked up and you guys kind of have a business and you're doing stuff together, but when it comes to the actual ad swapping, is there a limit to the number of partners? How do you identify those partners? How do you know if you should be working with them? So those are some questions right there that I had. Those next three questions are really about finding and working with partners. Like, how do you do that? How many partners do you have, and how do you manage it? And really, who are these partners?
Well, there's a lot. That's a lot there just in and of itself. That question alone, we could go on for a long time. And there's a website which you can go ahead and show later, John, that it will help along with this process. And but there's several places, posting in the Warrior Forum, Skype channels, and another really good way is to email back someone who you're already on their list. You get emails from other marketers, and it's nice to email them back once in a while and say, hey, listen, I've been on your list for 6 months. I really dig your stuff. I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing an ad swap. It's actually how Frank and I met. I was on Frank's list for a long time, and finally one day I emailed him back and said, listen, I've been on your list forever. I'd really love to ad swap with you. And he said, sure. And then we became good friends, and that's how we ad swapped. And then, of course, there's the site, Safe Ad Swaps, and there's a place there where people can get together and swap all the time. You want multiple partners. You don't want to swap with the same person over and over again because you're going to get the same people. People may have a list of 1,000 or 500, or it could be 10,000. But really, you and I know 3 to 8% of the people will actually open up an email and take action, and it's usually those same 3 to 8%. And so they're going to get bored to death unless, of course, you switch up ad swap partners. I swap very aggressively.
Yeah, I realized that there's a question that I should have asked first, and I'm going to jump down, then I'll come back. But the question is, and it's kind of silly. I'm hearing you talk about 100% offers, the Warrior Forum, emailing partners, and I realize there's a lot going on here. Let's actually go back to basics and come up with a definition.
What
or
is
something.
ad swapping?
Yeah, what is ad swapping? I realized that I probably should have asked that question. What is ad swapping? It's a fundamental question.
Yes, sir. Right. So here's what it is. You have a list and I have a list, and I basically say, John, I'm going to write an offer, a free offer, and I'm going to give away a free product, and I'm going to write it as if it was being written by you, and I'm going to provide you with this email, which is referred to as a swipe, and I'd like you to mail it to your list. And in exchange, I'll do the same thing for you. You present a free offer, a similar product, a WordPress plugin, a PDF, a report, some type of nice gift, and I'll mail it to my list as if I had written it. So the email going out to my list would say, hey, dear First Name Fix, I have a great offer from my friend John Rhodes. He's put together this great report on how to do ad swaps or how to optimize your blog, and I want to give it to you today free as a way of saying thank you for being on my list. Here's the link. Go grab your copy now. Now I mail that out to my list, and similarly you mail out an offer that I have created for your list. We have now just ad swapped. I've sent an ad to my list. You've sent an ad to your list. People now from my list have opted in, grabbed your free offer, and are now part of your list for you to now swap with in the future. So let's take that. That's the basics of it, and let's take it on a very even scale. You have 1,000 people on your list. I have 1,000 people on my list. And in a perfect world, 80 people click the link that I've sent out and go to your site, and 50% of them actually take action and opt in and join your list. And similarly, the same thing happens on the mail out that you do to your list.
Right.
Well, now you have a list of 1,050, and I have a list of 1,050. Well, we may have had some unsubs along the way, but just keeping the math pretty simple, we now have 50 new people that have never even heard of you before. They're not on your list. They were never on your list. They're now getting your daily follow-ups, your daily broadcasts, and whatnot. That's a perfect ad swap, and that's the basics of it.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned that having a lot of partners is good. It sounds like it's certainly very, very easy to get started manually. So if you want to just kind of get on other people's list, as long as you even have a small list, you get on other people's list who probably maybe they have a larger list. Some of them are going to have smaller lists, but you get on their list. And one of the best ways, it sounds like, of understanding who you might be able to work with is just being on their list. So there is an easy way to get started simply by finding people who have lists, getting on their list, and then following up with them at some point in time without any crazy technology or doing anything sophisticated. Of course, you're not going to grow crazy fast like you did, John. We'll talk about the crazy growth, but just getting started, it sounds like, hey, get a little bit of a list going, find someone else who has a list, hopefully of the same size, if you're just trying to get started manually that way, and then do a quick swap. I mail for you, you mail for me. That's very cool. Now, what about? Yeah.
Yeah, and let me tell you how to, a real good way to start a basic list. If you have a list of 100, you're ready to really start ad swapping in an aggressive kind of way. If you have a list of 1 or 2 or 3 people, it's very, very difficult. But let me tell you how to quickly build a list of your first 100 people. It's simple. You can do it, and you can have 100 people on your list in 24 hours. It's very, very easy to do. Assuming that you have your squeeze page and your funnel in place where people can actually opt in and you have your autoresponder, you have an area for them to plug in their name, and you have a suitable gift, a PDF, a report, something funny, a graphic pack, simply post it on your Twitter. Put it on your Warrior Forum signature. Go and update it on your Facebook page. Put it out there and send it to all of your friends and family that are on your current list, your people you email socially. You'll be surprised how quick you have 50 or 100 people that have taken that free gift or have joined your list. At that point, you're ready to start to swap.
Yep.
And so it's real easy to do that first 50 or 100.
Yes, that's your seed list, right? That's the seed list that you use for getting started. And
Correct,
I've seen
that's free.
Yeah. And that's totally free. Yeah, totally free.
Totally free.
Totally free.
You can buy your way into it, and you can buy solo ads. We can get into that later. But that's how I built my list from 0 to very, very big.
Awesome. Now, are there like regulations? Are there any businesses involved here? Or is it mostly like person to person? There's this question of dealing with businesses or business to business swaps and that kind of stuff. But I've never really heard of that. Is it pretty much always like an individual, another individual, like entrepreneur to entrepreneur, or is there sort of more to the story on that?
No, it's usually one-on-one, person to person. When you get a little bit, bigger, you may get an email from, hey, this is the JV manager for Mike Filsame or Ryan Dice or so-and-so, and we'd like to swap with you. But trust me, that's not going to happen until you've had a couple 100,000 people on your list and you have a real big reputation.
Right.
So in the beginning, it's really one-on-one, and which leads to the fact that now you have to there's some trust. You mail out for the one person, they don't mail out for you. And so that's why there's certain forms and there's certain ways to protect yourself and cut off valves and things like that we can get into. But remember, someone can only burn you one time, and you need to also look at the traffic that they're sending you, and there's ways to do that.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, so it does sound like it's sort of lone wolf or rogue warrior, but that's okay, right? Especially because we're going to talk about some technology a little bit later on. Not just one technology in general along the way. But yeah, getting started, it's from what I'm hearing, it's like, look, get a little bit of a list going, find people who have a similar list, and move forward. And that's actually part of this next question here. Who exactly are you swapping with? Do these people have to have lists that are similar? In other words, does everyone have to be in, Make Money or MLM or real estate, or dog training? Is it? I know that it's probably smartest to swap with people in the same niche, but is that like a requirement? Is it like an unspoken handshake that's how this works, or how, who's playing the ad swap game? I'm trying to get my head around that.
Frank, you want to jump on that, or want me to keep going on that one?
Yeah. Basically, it's a smart thing to do is to swap with other marketers that are in the same area of interest, the same niche as you are. Because let's say you meet a marketer who has a huge list, and you're getting started. You have 500 people on your list, and he's into personal growth, but you're targeting people that are internet marketing, make money online. It's really not going to do well with the swap. It's going to be unbalanced, and when you do your swap, one partner is going to walk away not as happy as the other one. So it's always best to target people that are in the same niche as you. And when you go to these certain forums or these certain chat rooms or these special sites made for swapping, you're going to quickly and easily be able to find partners that are in the same niche. So that's really not a problem once you get started. The main thing is once you get started, just take action and stay consistent, and you're going to see results really, really fast.
Yeah, the consistency I can imagine being a big deal. My guess, and I don't know, we can talk about this now or later on. My guess, though, is that you guys must stick to schedules. You must have goals that you set. There's got to be a lot of structure in your business. The way that I think about it is, I know folks that do pay-per-click, and the pay-per-click folks, what they do is they really focus on the conversion rates, the percentages, the dollar, the real pennies per click, the dollars per click, whatever the dollar, whatever the money amount is, and they really pay attention to the details. Is that the way it is with Adswaps? Do you really have to pay? And that's my impression is you have to pay attention to the details. But is that true? Is it, or can you kind of take more of a hands-off approach? What's the scoop on the level of detail?
There are systems that will automate a lot of this for you. In the beginning, it's going to be your scheduling. You have a calendar in front of you. Who's tomorrow? You're making sure that you've queued up in your autoresponder. And when you're doing swaps, you're not trading list sizes here. You're trading clicks. So if I send out an email to my list that John wrote, and John is a great copywriter, and it goes boom, and 500 clicks come John's way. John owes me 500 clicks, and the unwritten rule is about 10%. So if John gets to about 450 clicks, we're even. That's called an even swap. Within 10%, that's about even. But until that time, you need to mail your list 5 days this week. It doesn't matter how many times you need to mail your list. You need to match my clicks. And so a swap is not just, hey, I send and you send. Let's just say you swap with me. And you contact me and you're on my list and you go, John, I'm into ad swapping and I've got a list of 5,000 and I want to swap with you. Well, if I mail out to my entire list, I'm going to get 9,000, 10,000 clicks. You're going to get 300. You're not going to catch me, so I have to portion off my list, and I do that to swap with smaller swap partners. But the thing is, what we usually do is say, hey, how many clicks would you comfortably be willing to swap? And say, I'm comfortable swapping 150. Well, at that point, if you send out my swipe to your list and it gets 75, I'm expecting you to now send it out again tomorrow, or to rewrite it, or to send it out to your unopens. But you're going to get to that 150, and if you don't, I just won't swap with you again. That's it's a real even pairing off of trading of assets within 10%. No one's going to say, hey, you sent me $3.99, I sent you $400. Where's my one click?
Right.
That's not like that.
Well, if everybody's honest on both ends, and you're looking at your stats, and you follow that way of thinking, you're gonna do just fine. And if someone burns you, then just make note of that and don't swap with them again.
Right. Well, there's something interesting here. So if you really want to get started at the most basic level, people who have the same list size are probably, and it's a small little tiny list you're starting with. People with a small list and just getting started, it's probably okay to kind of hunt down folks who have those small lists that you can swap with. But as time goes on, as your list grows, the game changes. You're not swapping with people of the same size list, to the number of people on the list, or even the number of opens. It's just what John said. You're really trying to match up. When you do an ad swap, you're trying to match up the number of clicks. It's all about the clicks and matching those clicks. Now, the assumption there is that the clicks are of equal value, or that they're roughly equivalent in value. But and I assume that's the way you guys look at it. There's not like another level down about the quality of the clicks, or is there?
Well, let me tell you, that's a very good question, and there are three types of clicks that I usually use as a rule of thumb. There is the click that is from an email. You emailed your list, someone opened it, they saw the link, they took action, they clicked on it. There is a click that is a social click. You post it on Facebook or Twitter or MySpace. And then there is a click that comes from viral sites or list building sites or traffic exchanges. Those three clicks, those three different types, are completely different, and it's like it's trading yens, dollars, and rubles. Okay, it's completely different. And so an ad swap is my list to your list. You're not to send out a tweet blast or a MySpace blast or something to a traffic exchange. You can do those swaps. You can get real creative and say, hey, I have 50,000 people on my Twitter account. You have 50,000 people. Let's tweet swap. That's fair. That's great. Hey, I have access to 500,000 people in traffic exchanges, and you have 500,000 people. Let's do a traffic exchange swap. That's fine. But that's not what we're talking about. And so when you look at some of this traffic, realize that some people will attempt to burn you. And when they say, hey, I'll send you 500 clicks, you'll see that 300 or 400 clicks came from social sites or traffic exchanges. They're rubles. They're not dollars.
Right.
It's not the same. The conversion is nowhere near the same. So you have to be very clear and very astute to what where the traffic is coming from. Now, again, all traffic is good traffic.
Now, do you guys, and that makes total sense, and I love the currency analogy. I think that is awesome. Very cool. Question I have is, do you have 3 different email lists that you maintain, roughly speaking, or conceptually speaking? Do you have 3 different email lists, one for the email, one for the social clicks, one for the viral, traffic exchange kind of traffic? Do you break up your list that way, or that is really just for the ad swap itself?
No, yeah, I don't break up my list that way. It's really for the ad swap itself. It's the way to get creative, and then there's a little trick that Frank kind of taught me, and I used it. There's a way to change those rubles and those yens into dollars, and the way to do that in a fair way is to set up what's the word there, Frank? Not a squeeze page, but a
set up a splash page. Selling the click, so to speak, saying, hey, grab this free PDF on blogging today, absolutely free. And this is when you're building your own list, is what we advise, because you can use social sites and viral list builders and advertising websites, ad sites as we call them. You can use those sites, but we always recommend use those for your own list building efforts. And once you get those people off of those sites onto your list, of course, that's when you use your list to do ad swaps.
Right.
But you can use what they call a splash page to draw attention and say, hey, look, we got this great $97 value gift for you today. Just click here. And when they click it, it opens a new window, and there you have your squeeze page once they've made the click. And so that's actually someone that's truly interested in your offer.
Yeah, so this way, John, instead of the person just getting a tweet and clicking on a link and it being really a no-value click, they've opened a tweet, they've clicked on it, and landed on a splash page. They read it and went, wow, that really is interesting. They've clicked it again, and now they're at your squeeze page. That kind of evens up. That kind of makes those yens and those rubles worth the dollar at that point.
Yep, very clear. That's awesome too. In the consulting world, that's what I like to call, making them crawl over broken glass to get to you. By making people jump through the hoops. But the broken glass kind of idea is like if someone really wants to get what it is you have to offer, they're going to go the extra mile. They're going to jump through those hoops. So I really like that conversion process. Very, very cool. I like that a lot.
And when you're using your splash page, when you create something, like I've said before, we always recommend that you use those social sites and safe lists and whatever for your own list building efforts. That way, you don't have an ad swap partner that might think you're trying to cheat them. Instead, you're using these sites to build your list so that you can get started if you have no list. Right. And people say those tactics don't work, but I'm here to tell you they do, because when I got started at the beginning of '07, that's what I used, and I quit my job by September of 2007. So anyone that says it's junk traffic hasn't really put it to the test.
Wait, hold on, Frank, man. How fast did you went from zero to hero? How fast? How fast was that?
I started learning about internet marketing late 2006. I think it was December when I got my first commission, believe it or not, from a friend of mine called called Bob the Teacher. 2007, I still was doing it part-time while I was shipping and receiving. And by September of 2007, I had quit my job and went at it full force.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Great story. And John, to get to your 350,000 person list, that's taken you, or that took you what, 14, 15 months or so?
Yeah, it took me 14 months and or so. And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's like, when you go bungee jumping or you go to like break the Guinness World Record and you have no idea that you're breaking the Guinness World Record, it's real easy to do. Because I had no idea that this couldn't be done. So I just jumped into it, and I had sold my company, and I was making a tremendous amount of money. I was making $30,000 a month was my paycheck. And I went, wait a minute, I sold the company, and now they're sending me $9,000 a month in payments. I got to make this money up really, really quickly. So I just went at it. And I mean, I went, and I did all sorts of things that we could never get in there. We would teach for hours and hours on how I did that, but I did it relatively quickly and got the attention of some big names. I mean, people like Mike Filsaime right now that are mentioning me on their new products and swapping with Russell Brunson and things like that. It happened very, very quickly for me, and so I became, within, let's just say, 4 months, I was making a full-time living in internet marketing.
Right.
To the tune of $1,000 a day. Very, very quickly.
Now, as far as the monetization, we're going a little off track, but it's so cool. As far as the monetization, is that primarily from offers that you guys are pushing? Like, hey, here's a new ClickBank product that you guys are mailing to, or are you really making the money? And you don't have to say how much exactly, but I mean, is the money really coming in from selling the solo ads or selling traffic to other people? So is it people buying stuff, or is it selling traffic?
No,
no, here it is. You ready? This is the beauty of it. It's from swapping.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the beauty of it. So like you and I swap, when somebody opts into my list, what are they going to see? They're going to see my one-time offer, and then they're going to see my downsell. And so if I'm at about 3%, or let's just say 2% conversion, and my average OTO is $20, and we do a 200-click swap, and 40% of the people go ahead and convert, I have 80 new people that came into my sales funnel. I have 16 people that just bought a $20 offer. Okay, I've quickly picked up what is that? $320 that day, doing an ad swap.
So,
just doing ad swaps. You're making several $100s a day on doing nice size ad swaps, and then you have a nice size list to go ahead and mail a ClickBank. I didn't know what ClickBank was for the first 6 months. I was just ad swapping away, head to the floor.
So let's put it a different way. What you just explained, in my mind, this is the mechanics. You're getting paid a lot of money to build your list.
Right.
You're getting paid. You're getting paid to build your list. I mean, you've got a very, from the sounds of it, that's a relatively straightforward funnel. You've got the swap occurring, so the traffic comes in. They get the goodie. Your conversion rate isn't anything crazy. It's like, okay, 2 to 3%, $20 times whatever size, and you're, like you said, you're talking $300, $400, $500, and your list has increased in size. Now, we know that there's attrition. We know people drop out and all that stuff. But on the whole, given that your list is so monstrous, obviously you're adding quicker than you're losing, and you're making money as the list grows. You're getting paid to grow your list. It's just amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah, and don't focus. I can tell you right now, do not focus on the unsubscribes. In the beginning, you're going to go, oh my God, I did a swap and I lost 28 people. Don't focus on that. Focus on the positive. I'm here to tell you, I lose about 400 to 500 people a day unsubscribe from my lists. I add 1,200 people a day. So it's part of the game. You let it go, and it's part of the game. And you know what? Those people that are unsubscribing from your list, they're not buying anyway. Let them go.
Yeah, very cool.
John, about making money, just to have people that are new or just getting started visualize this, how simple it is. Once you start your ad swapping, let's just say you average 5, just really conservatively here, 5 OTOs a day from your ad swap efforts. Now let's just say it's a simple resale rights product you picked up and you're selling it just for $7. Let's just assume it's a real cheap product, but it's nice graphics, nice looking thing that you're offering. $7. Let's say you're averaging only 5 sales a day of that. If you do 5 times 7, that's $35, which it's not a lot of money, right? But let's do $35 times 30 days. What do we have then? We have an extra $1,050 that the person didn't have, and we all know an extra $500 a month for the average family would really help them stay above water.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
It's powerful.
And if you're doing that manually, that can be a little bit of a drag. But I got to tell you, man, if you're seeing $500 to $1,000 at the end of the month, that little drag, which is realistically, actually, let me ask that question about how much time. Not do you guys spend, because you probably spend either more or less than the average bear. But someone just starting out, what are they going to spend per day working on their ad swap empire?
I say they can spend about in the beginning, and if they don't automate it, if they don't join one of the services that we can recommend, they can spend an hour a day looking for their partner, making sure they got it queued up right, making sure everything's set. About an hour a day is typical, because remember, you're always looking for partners, and what you're going to find out is very quickly that two things are going to happen that are going to scare the death out of you. One is you're not going to be able to find enough partners unless, of course, you have the right tools and you go to these places we'll tell you to go to. And two, you're going to have more clicks than the partners have. And that's when you're going to get really scared. It's like you have 1,000 clicks and you can only find people to send you back 500.
Right.
What do you do with the other 500 clicks?
Right.
So, but those are good things to have, at some point. Those are very good things to have, and there's ways to, of course, utilize that.
Yeah, I have a question.
I used to do my ad swapping manually before me and John actually hooked up and started doing things together. And I would actually schedule them out in advance, so there would be days where I'd have my ad swaps queued up to a week in advance. So, I'd handle all my ad swaps, get things set up, usually within a day for the following week. And once you found 2 or 3 ad swap partners that were good to you and you guys had successful ad swaps, there's ways they'll introduce you to other ad swappers, and then it just keeps going from there. And this is when I used to do it manually. Of course, now John and I have pretty much joined our lists together, so to speak. So we do everything automated. But when you do it manually and you're putting in the effort, I wouldn't say more than 2 hours a day if you're serious about building that list quickly.
Yeah, that's cool. And even at a couple hours a day, if we do the math and we do it for a week, if someone's really kind of taking their time, trying to figure stuff out, find really good partners, in a week, you're talking about what? That's about 10 hours, 5 days, 5 out of 7 days. You can probably get done what you need to get done. 10 hours, and then a month has, on average, 4 weeks, about 40 hours. If you look at that $1,000, look at
$1,000. Yeah, about $26 an hour, which is, that's
more
than
that. What's more than that?
Well, let's see. If it's $1,000, which is very reasonable. $1,000.
It's easy once you get started.
Divided by 40 hours in a month, $25 an hour, and there are 2,500 hours in a year work or whatever it is. Let's see, 25. Oh, actually, it's going to be 25. Well, whatever it is, it's a lot of money.
Well, you're missing one thing there too. And that is that every day that you swap, you now have more clicks to swap with.
Right.
So you have more people coming in because you're progressively growing that list.
Yeah, crazy. Well, let's keep moving down the questions here. So we know what ad swapping is. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here so folks can see. I want to make sure folks can see. Yeah, we'll do that. A little bit easier to see. So we know what ad swapping is now. I'm getting really juiced up. This is really exciting. Basic options, or the basic steps. We've talked about that, but are there different options? We talked a little bit about Twitter, Facebook, different types of clicks. Are there any other essentials or basics that someone getting started with ad swaps would need to know? Is there, and I'm trying to think of what that means, because I mean, because I'm so ignorant about ad swaps, which is awesome, I just don't know. What else, what else do I have to know?
You need nothing. You need a basic funnel, and that consists of a squeeze page, that consists of a one-time offer, and a thank you page and a product. And what I recommend is that, Frank said 2 hours, I said an hour. Let's meet in the middle and say an hour and a half. Take that other half hour a day and practice split testing everything. Split testing your swipe, split testing your squeeze page, increase those conversions, because a guy can send you 1,000 clicks and you're converting at 20%. It's 200 new customers on your list.
Right.
If you can get it to 25 or 26%, that's an extra 50 or 60 people. So the basics of ad swapping are, an autoresponder and a funnel, and you're ready to go.
Right. The thing that's interesting, I kind of think about the pay-per-click folks again, and how the people that tend to do best with pay-per-click, whether it's Google, Facebook, whatever, the ones that are real data Nazis, or they're just super crazy focused on the data and the numbers. They can do really, really well. And that applies here. Also, folks who are copywriters or like writing new copy and testing and tweaking their copy, this is also another opportunity. Another thing that I'm hearing is, look, you got to give them something. You actually have to have a product to give them, and that's easy. You can obviously grab PLR, private label rights to something that's really high value. Probably in the internet marketing, sort of make money niche. That's super easy to do that. But you could also be a product creator. You could create your own big giant fat pile product that is just crazy overwhelming value, and you can use that for your OTO. It could be a product that you buy. It could be a product you create. So really, it doesn't matter what you're great at. You can focus on some part of the ad swapping, this ad swap empire, and you're going to be in great shape. And the rest of it, you can outsource, you can buy, and it's just a really simple funnel. I love it.
And remember, if you take your product that you give away and you make that a viral product, and in that you have links to ClickBank offers that you like, that you talk about in the PDF, or to other products that you're an affiliate of, you're not going to see residual income from that ad swap months and months out.
Yeah, that's right. And that's crazy too. The building up of your list actually gives you greater and greater perpetual evergreen money down the road. It's actually this continuous growth as long as you have the conversions and you've got a solid funnel set up. Very exciting. What about the legal stuff or contracts or anything like that? Is it mostly like, hey, I'll mail for you, you mail for me, or are there like contracts people use, or is there any sort of agreement that people have other than like the number of clicks? Is there anything else?
I wouldn't say to worry about the legalities, except other than do not be misleading when you're sending out your emails. But I mean, of course, if you feel that the need, you can consult with your lawyer or whatever. But there's no real contract that you need to sign. If you wanted to create a contract with every AdSwap partner, hey, then go ahead and do it. But the main thing you just need to know is when you go into certain areas to set up your ad swaps, there's going to be a way for people to know if there's a cheater out there, so to speak. So those type of people are always going to be found out. So when you're first getting started, of course, you got to be wary, but always know that if once you get a few ad swap partners that are consistent with you, you're going to be okay. John, you want to add to that?
Yeah, the other thing to do is always if someone approaches you for an ad swap, like John approaches me tonight, I say, sure, let me see the page you're going to swap with. I want to see his funnel. I'm going to join his list. I want to see that John's not sending them to a porn site, or John's not, going to change up at the last minute or do something that I don't want to expose my list to. You have the right to say, I really, I don't like that. You have 5 OTOs. I don't want to expose my list to that. You can do all those things. I tend to not do it as much. I used to in the beginning, and now I'm like, look, once someone subscribes to your list, they're yours. They're no longer my subscriber. So do what you want. But I do recommend that you get on people's lists that you're going to swap with, and you go and you take a look at their funnel first.
Right. Now, there was a question, a couple of questions people have asked. I'll first make sure everyone knows what an OTO is. An OTO is a one-time offer, and I'll explain that real fast. So when someone opts in, when they subscribe to your email list, like they land on a squeeze page, they land on an opt-in page, when they opt in, you can then show them an offer. You can show them an offer that says, hey, thanks for subscribing, and if you're doing double opt-in, they have to go confirm their email and all that jazz. If it's single opt-in, they don't. But after they've given you their email address or name and email address, then what happens is they will then go through that, they'll submit or click the download button, and then what will happen is they're going to see that one-time offer. They're going to see the offer that pops up right after that. So that's the OTO. That's the one-time offer. John, just one more time, because there's like 3 people who have asked different ways this question. Can you just run through that very, very basic funnel one more time? I kind of gave the middle piece, but could you walk through that funnel just real fast one more time for folks who are just getting started?
Sure. I'm going to go through the most basic of one, and then a little bit more advanced one. You need a squeeze page, which is your landing page that has only one goal: put their name and their email address in it. You then need a OTO, a one-time offer, that is your chance to sell those people. And then you need a thank you page where they can then go ahead and download that product that you've just promised them on the squeeze page. There's several ways to to tweak that, if you will. If you don't ask for their first name and you just ask for their email, Frank and I found conversions will go up 8 to 10 to 15%. Then you won't be able to use the first name variable in your follow-up emails and whatnot, but you'll have more coming in. I personally don't recommend double opt-in when you're swapping or buying solo ads, because you're going to lose 30% of the people. If you're going to pay for a lead, then I certainly suggest double opt-in, but on these I do not. So it's real simple. They go to www.yoursite.com, they fill in their name, and it says, very next page says, thank you so much. Your product is just right around the corner. In the meantime, now that you're interested in this WordPress blog theme, I thought I'd show you this WordPress Automator. It's only $19.95. You can buy it here now, or just simply click on the bottom where it says no thank you and take me to my original download, in which case you do.
Right.
And guys, you don't have to be a copywriter or a product creator to make money off of one-time offers. John, have you ever written a sales letter? John Cornetto, have you ever written a sales letter for your one-time offers?
No, never.
Or there have been resale rights, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I've tweaked a few. I've done a couple creative things.
Yeah, so people don't have to worry about being a product creator or a copywriter to get started. Once you get started, there's many different places you can go to get those resale rights and master resale rights packages that you can resell and make money with.
John, can we show them one? Not that I want to sell a bunch of these $17 OTOs right now, but it's just such a real creative one. It's a good one. And most OTOs will not only be the OTO itself, but when you buy it, you get the entire page so that you can use it as an OTO.
Right. Yeah, let's do this. Throw me the link, and then what I'll do is I'll go to my web browser rather than handing it over to you guys, unless you want me to hand it over. Just throw me the link, and then I'll open it up, and then you guys can yabber about it. That sounds awesome to me.
Let me see
I think
here.
people be I think folks would be thrilled to see that.
So
okay, there we go.
Someone opts into my page, and the minute they opt in, they get to see this.
Yep, I'm
and hear
showing
this, by the way.
Yeah, let's see here.
If your audio's on.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so there we go. And this was the OTO, right, John?
This is the OTO, and
the
audio's not playing. The audio's not playing, but right now it says, in a moment you'll be receiving an email message to confirm your blah blah blah. Hey, wait, get 25 high quality, high selling resale right products for pennies on the dollar. And as you scroll down, you'll see that they now will get these 25 products and an exact copy of this page,
Right.
so that they can plug it in as their OTO somewhere else. And this is like $17, and at the bottom they say no. Boom, okay, they're taking away to their original download.
Yep, there it is.
Right.
Right.
Right there, yeah, you get the exact copy of this. So order now, or no, John, sorry, $1 is just too much per product. I'll pass it on.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, so that's the OTO. So this is after someone has opted in. They see this one-time offer. There it is, master resale rights, 25, awesome products, and all they have to do is drop $17, and they can have this exact same page. Very powerful. Yeah, the resale rights approach is very cool. Smart.
Yeah, and so a lot of the OTOs come with the fact that they're also selling you the OTO itself, where then you can use it as your own OTO.
Yeah, that's hot. That's really hot. That's clever, brilliant, smart, all around. So we've talked about capturing email addresses, and so the question is what's the scoop with autoresponders? So
gotta have one.
Yeah, you've got to have an autoresponder. Now, do you have a recommended list? Like I use Aweber, or actually it's a white label version of Aweber plus Aweber almost exclusively. Do you guys use Aweber, GetResponse? What do you use? Multiple providers? Like what's the scoop?
Keep naming them. We use them. We have, Frank and I have big lists. So we have, we're across the board from Aweber, GetResponse. We use Indica Mail. We have our own private servers. So we have it all over the place. We really recommend that if you're new and you're just starting out to use Aweber. The interface is really easy. It's easy to use. The other ones are a little more complicated. But the minute you start having, 50, 60, 100,000 people on a list, you sleep well at night knowing that they're not all sitting in one place where they can be sucked away or some computer virus or crash. So ours are spread out over several different autoresponders. But, again, my favorite interface is Aweber.
Yeah. And Frank, do you feel the same way? And I know that there always seems to be controversy about, well, what should I use? And I love, by the way, I love the risk mitigation, this idea, and the same way that people talk about multiple streams of income. There's also this idea of multiple ways to distribute your risk, to spread out your risk, and having all these different names on different lists with different providers is also, in my opinion, very, very smart to do. I
like Aweber too, and GetResponse is a good one also. So I mean, when you first get started, you don't have to worry about any other providers really. If you go with Aweber, you should do fine. And like John said, it's really a user-friendly environment that'll help you get started. Once you start using it.
How about you guys have talked a little bit, both of you have talked about ad swapping and solo mailing. Can you guys explain that real core difference?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this. Solo mailing is when, let's say you have no list, and let's say you got some money, you want to get started in the game quick. Well, guess what? There's a lot of ad swappers out there that will basically rent you their list, and they'll send your offer, your subject line, and your body promoting your squeeze page to their list with nothing else in that email but your offer. And let's say you bought a solo ad from a marketer, or let's say you bought it from John, and you paid him the money, and within a few days he'll send your ad to his list, and you could very well have anywhere between 150, 200, 250 or more people join your list within hours of him mailing for your offer. And other marketers do this as well. It's a real quick way to send a surge of traffic to your squeeze page and literally get hundreds of subscribers within 24 hours of the person that sold you the solo ad. As soon as they send that ad, you can start seeing results. And ad swapping is we already talked about this. Right. This is, you send for me, I'll send for you. Solo mailing is a really quick way to get into the game right now. If you got some money, I suggest once you get your funnel set up, you can get started with a solo mailing and literally have a list of 100, 200 people within less than 24 hours.
Yeah, think of it as this way. And I hate to use a sexual analogy here, but for some reason I'm going to, and I'm going to keep it as clean as I can.
Keep it clean, man.
Yeah. Swapping and solo mailing, okay? Swapping. We're both going to stimulate and arouse each other. Solo. I'm not doing anything but paying you.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
That's a great analogy there, John. I really appreciate it.
I'm paying you. You go do the work. I'm going to lay back here and enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's it. I paid you. You mail your list. I'm not mailing my list, which means I don't have any unsubs coming off my list.
Yep. And I could say I could say I firmly enjoy that, but I won't. Oh, wait. How about what has to be in, like this is a little bit of a technology question. What about, installation and downloads and software? We talked about autoresponders and the OTO, so you probably need something, like a HTML editor and hosting. I mean, just how much technology, how much do you have to install on a server and all that? Like, what are the technological bare bones?
Well, you need to know some HTML. I mean, there is a way to get around that, but eventually you need just a squeeze page, a thank you page, and like John said, a one-time offer. So you're going to have to, need an FTP program, something like FileZilla. It's free download. You're going to need an HTML editor. There's a free one out there. I think it used to be called InView. Now it's Composer. Mm-hmm. If you Google Composer, you can get it. Those are the two things. You need an Aweber account or GetResponse or something of that nature, and that's it.
A PayPal account.
And a PayPal account if you want to take payments, you want to make money. So of course, I forgot to mention that one.
So it really is the basics. You don't really need a whole lot. And my guess is, someone just starting out could. I shouldn't even say my guess. I know that you can outsource that entire setup and so on for less than $100. I mean, if you're really desperate and you want it done really right, someone you can trust, you can get all that done, everything set up, everything in place for less than $100. In fact, probably less than $50. Head over to the Warrior Forum, for example, and find someone to help you out, someone who wants to make $50. So cool, yeah, basic technology, nothing sophisticated, although we have kind of danced around the topic of how to automate these, and so I'd actually like to do that now. What about automating ad swapping? Now, you guys threw me a link. We talked a little bit about safe ad swaps previously. So here's what I mean. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think it makes sense to talk about automation. I think folks are kind of thinking, well, I can automate this, and I can pay for that, or I can spend time on this. But what about as you grow? So that automation question is a big one.
Well, that wasn't right. That link should say bonus, not bonus. There, John, I sent you. But it should say bonus. There you go.
Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Well, I'll send that to everyone then. That's the Safe Ad Swaps bonus there. I'll send that out to everyone. So, folks, what you'll see here, you should see it there, safeadswaps.com/bonus. And this is really, if I understand it right, John and Frank, this is like an essential piece or close to an essential piece of the automation of ad swaps. Is that right?
Exactly. It'll take your ad swaps to the next level so that you set it up on autopilot once you get going.
Hey, John, you still there? It sounds like you dropped off a little bit.
I'm here. I did drop off. Yeah, that this is for me. There's no way around it. To get an account at Safe Ad Swaps /bonus, you're going to have everything automated for you. It's going to do all your tracking for you. It's going to tell you how many clicks the partner was short on, how many opt-ins you got. It's going to be able to put your swipe up there one time and customize it for each of your partner. It will automatically upload it into your Aweber account and queue it for you. Wow. I have 2 months set in advance. I forget about it. There are 2,000 people there with similar sized lists that are looking for you, and you're looking for them. There's ratings on each of them. Have they screwed someone in the past? Are they a good swapper or a bad swapper? It's just a breakout overnight. Boom, you sign up. I think it's about $25 a month, and you're making that back instantly because you have a swap a day set up. You're no longer going to the Warrior Forum and begging people to look for swaps or asking friends and neighbors. They're finding you. You're finding them. It automates the process. It's just one-stop shop.
Yeah. So one or two. I mean, let's break it down. One or two OTOs covers your entire month for for Safe Ad Swaps to make that happen. The Safe Ad Swaps bonus page that you've got there. Getting signed up, having that work, taking care of the swapping and autopilot is paid for with one, depending on the size of your OTO, 1, 2, maybe 3 OTO sales, and it's covered. Plus, no more manual, no more headache. That's very, very cool. And I didn't, John, I didn't know it did that much. That's really crazy. The fact that it actually integrates with Aweber, that it customizes. You get the swipe in there. It's really crazy.
It changes the variables. It adds your name to the email. It does all of that. It comes back with analytics and stats. And then again, it rates your partner, and you get to rate your partner on the quality. And it shows a history. It shows you your calendar right before you, and it allows you to swap with people who aren't members of Safe Ad Swaps. You can go ahead and send send somebody and say, I use Safe Ad Swaps. I want you to swap with me using, here's my link, and it'll track it for you with people outside of the community. But there's so many people in that community that you're not going to have a shortage of swaps. If you do it on your own, you're going to swap 5 to 10 times a month. If you do it within that community, you're going to have 30 swaps constantly doing. You're going to swap once a day.
Right.
I recommend at least swapping once a day.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'll tell you this. You mentioned that, and I figured, well, it's it's the cost of doing business, and it's the smartest investment I can make, other than talking to you guys. It's the smartest investment I can make in ad swapping. So I signed up. I don't know how to use it yet, but I started looking at some of the help information, kind of going through what they had available, watching the videos. Spent about 10, maybe 15 minutes or so looking at what's there, and it seems pretty cool. I mean, I didn't realize there was that much available. That's awesome.
It'll also show you it'll verify people's list size. So if you're uncomfortable with people and they say they have a list of 20,000, it will tell you whether they're verified at 20,000 or not.
That's cool.
So you have that comfort level.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be very comfortable getting started and doing your ad swaps there, because they have all these safeguards set up so that you're swapping safely. So hence the name, Safe Ad Swaps.
Right. Now, there were a couple of folks who asked what that link was. I sent it out in the chat box, and I responded again. You can see that link right there, the safeadswaps.com/bonus. That's the best way to get in. So kind of continuing on these what questions, we've obviously hit an awful lot of these questions already in different ways. But one of the, like the minimum size, you can get started with a really small list. The social media sites, that's pretty cool and all that. But one of the questions in the minimum, that minimum size is a big one for the folks that are just trying to get started. But I know one of the questions that I had, just even a few days ago was, well, geez, what are the metrics of ad swapping? We know that it's not list size and it's probably clicks, but and maybe open rates as well, maybe number of sales from the OTOs. What else are you guys looking at to know that your ad swapping business is going well? What kind of data are you noodling about?
Well, one thing you want to just pay attention to is the conversion of your squeeze page. SafeSwaps has some code you can copy and paste onto your pages, so you can easily and quickly, once you've had a few swaps, see how many opt-ins you got sent, and that gives you really simple common sense way of telling if your squeeze pages are working good and whether or not your swap partner sent you, quality traffic. Because let's say you've had 7 successful ad swaps, and on average your page converted at 35%, and then your last swap converted at 5%. Well, that would give you an indication that, hey, something's kind of fishy here, because everybody else sent me around 35%,
Right.
and for some reason I got about the same clicks with this guy, but it's only sending me 5%. So that's a good way to tell sometimes when you're going over the stats, and they show you the stats right there in your back office when you log in. You want to add to that, John?
No.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, since you're swapping them with people, you want to know that they are reliable, they're trustworthy. There's a couple of people asked the exact same question. It's how big should our own list be before we join safeadswap.com /bonus? How big should their list be?
I had people. There are people there with 0, and I'll tell you why it's okay to go ahead and add with 0 for several reasons. One is if you join with a 0 list, you're going to then be able to be in the community, ask questions, see people, go ahead and look at their swipe, write your swipe accordingly. You'll be able to look at their sales funnels and take a sneak peek behind the curtain. You'll be able to ask questions in the forum while you're going out and starting to build your list through the ways that we talked about earlier. The other reason to do it is I'm a firm believer in biting off more than you can chew and then chewing it anyway. When I bought a Maserati Quattroporto, I bought it. I could not afford the payment, but I paid every payment there was. So it's just you'll procrastinate constantly saying, my list really isn't big enough, I shouldn't join yet. Join at 0.
Exactly.
Get in there, put that pressure on you, learn and look and see what other people are doing and take action.
I like that. Yeah, that's really interesting. And see, I tend to be more conservative, but the way that you guys have been successful with your list, and particularly the ad swapping, is very much tied to taking not just action, but this true massive action. So I like the idea of joining, even if your list is very small, and rolling that way, and that's cool. And if you have a few extra bucks, you can take the solo ad route. If you have a little bit of time, you can do just what John said earlier: Twitter, Facebook, your signature, and a forum, friends and family. You'll get to the 50, 100 people in very little time. So very cool.
I'm finally seeing these questions now. I finally figured out how to actually see them.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple that are just kind of jumping at me right now.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to answer those, or we can wait to the end, John and Frank. It's up to you guys, because there's still
sure. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So we've talked about the niches. We've talked about the size of the list. We talked about the autoresponder and the squeeze pages, and setting things up technically. So let's some of the how material. You guys said to me, hey, and this is about 3-4 weeks ago. I started chatting with you, in real detail. We started trying to figure out, what made sense for me, what I ought to be doing. If I wanted to dabble, if I wanted to, jump in with both feet, or maybe even head first. We talked about exploding the list, just going from almost nothing to a 10,000 person list in like a week. And I'm like, no way. And so the question I have is, how would you go from 500 people or 100 people or maybe 1,000 people, something much less than 10,000? How would you get to 10,000? How would you get there that fast?
There's lots of ways. I mean, listen, you got to be aggressive. This is John. This is me. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here, but some people have written here questions like, "It's a good one from Cal. If you're swapping every day, how do you build a relationship with your list?"
Right.
Guess what? I don't build a relationship with my list. I believe in the anti-relationship. I believe that no one wants to get 10 emails a day from their mother, a little less John Cornetta. So I have news for you. People on your list don't love you. The people that say, my list loves me, they care about every single word I send them. BS. Those days are gone. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe. Can you do that later? Can you build a relationship with a smaller portion of your list, the buyer portion of your list? Yeah. I don't swap every single day. I swap 6 times a day. 6 times a day I mail my list. That's how I got to 350,000, mailing people. I mail. And you have to take advantage of every single portion of that. In the download that you're giving them, the PDF, have you put another link to another partner to where you're doing some evergreen, list building, some evergreen click building. There's plenty of ways to do it, but the first thing is you walk up to a bank and you say, "Hi, I'd like to deposit some Pride and Ego." They go, "We only take cash." Check your Pride and Ego at the door. Forget about becoming the next Frank Kern or the next Mike Fosane, and I'm gonna build my name means something. No, slam it out there. Put a product in front of them, and become the next Walmart. Give people everything. I want people to come to my sales funnel looking for a product, and them not being able to find it. I never want them to escape. I want them to come to the front door if they're looking for an R-rated movie, and they're going to find it. If an R-rated movie pisses them off, I'm going to sell them a Bible.
Yeah, I mean that's it's interesting. It's a philosophy, right? I mean, I got to tell you again. I'm much more conservative. I am of the I don't know, the clan or the or the thought. I don't know. I'm not even sure what to say. I mean, my way of thinking about it is, build a relationship. My paradigm is build a relationship, but getting challenged this way is so interesting. And one way that I can think of blending the two is you might have your ad swap list where you are swapping a very large fraction of your list 5-6 times a day, and then occasionally you're able to siphon off certain people out of that list and take them off the freeway and take them on the nice country road and become buddies with them, right? I mean, that's
absolutely. And George asked the question 6 times a day. Did I hear that right? Yeah, George, you heard that right. Join up for my list, and you'll see how many emails you get a day. Just yesterday, I had an autoresponder company contact me and say, "Please slow down." I had sent out 1.9 million emails within 7 hours. Okay.
Yeah, they told us to cut back. So,
they said, "Please cut back. You're killing us." Okay. So we had to cut back because we were crashing their servers. And so and then I had subscribers write me and say, "You emailed me too much. This is crazy." And I say, "Hey, there's 2 ways to get less emails from me. 1, click the unsubscribe button. Or 2, buy a product. Because the minute you buy a product, you're not on my swap list anymore. You're off. You're on my buyer's list. I want to create a relationship with you. You've now showed me that you have a credit card or a PayPal account. You've taken the time to communicate back to me and pay me. And now I'm going to cuddle you, and I'm going to give you good content and build a relationship with you and sing Kumbaya. But until that time, I'm slamming it."
And the emails that you're sending out. Now here's the thing. It's they're on your list. They did opt in, and you're giving them free stuff. It's not like, go buy this Viagra. You're saying, right, here's more. And that's a distinction that kind of pops out in my mind. You're not just sending an email to go buy crap. You're saying, look, here is more. It's an enormous amount of free stuff. It is truly an enormous amount of free content that you're handing out. And some people are going to click sometimes, some people aren't. Sure, it is a lot of emails, but you're offering them free stuff for the most part, again and again and again.
Don't start with 6. 6.
Yeah, you don't have to start out that way. And another thing too, John didn't mention, but this is another way too, is if you're worried about the relationship, hey, add a PS to a link that's other than your swap to your own blog with a blog post or with an audio you created. You don't have to be a guru, a techie guru to get started to do simple things. You can go download a program called Jing. It's free. You can record screen capture videos on your computer for up to 5 minutes. You can go record just a simple video once a week and put a PS to that saying, "Here's a quick tutorial on how to speed through your Gmail account, or how to upload a squeeze page. Just simple stuff. If you want to connect with your list, put it in your signature. Make an audio form once a week, or write a blog post and share some photos of you and your family. If you're worried about that, put it in your PS. And you know what? How many of us know that people click on the PS?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and remember, you want to build a relationship with people who want to build a relationship with you. So they want to build a relationship with you by taking action. So if you told them to buy something, or you told them to do something, like gave them a piece of homework, take a survey, and they've done that, then move them into a different category and begin that relationship. Don't just begin the relationship because that's what you've been told to do. It's meaningless. Listen, I'm sorry to keep using this analogy, man, but it's like walking into a bar and you're single, and it's ladies' night, and you're going to look for a relationship. I got news for you, man. You're going home by yourself. Go out there, have a good time, and see who's interested, and then begin to build that relationship. You have a lot of people on your email list. They just simply want to. They see a silver ball. Well, if you can connect one silver ball that they like, and they email you back, move them to another list. There's also another little tricky Jedi trick that I use, that if you go to unsubscribe from my list, the first thing you see is a big wait. I'm sorry, did I email you too much? Are you tired of my crap? Just click here, and I'll put you on my once a week I love you email list. And they click that, and they're removed from all my other lists, and they're put on a special list.
Wow.
I saved 30% of the people that are going to unsubscribe.
And then people were like, hey, that's pretty, that was thoughtful of you. And then you'll get some emails from people saying, hey, thanks for that. I really, only check my email at the library, whatever reason that may be. Hey, they appreciate you taking the time to actually set up a special list just for those type of people.
And it's so easy to do. In Aweber, it's a breeze to do. And some of those questions there, the name of the free video capture is Jing, J-I-N-G. You can go ahead and Google that. And then Aweber will not shut you down if you mail more than 3 times a day. But again, remember, your list is like your dog, and you're going to train your list. You can't email your list once a week and start emailing them 6 times a day. You got to build up that training to that. So once they get used to it, they're used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, consistency. So stay consistent, and if you want to rank up your mailings, and then ramp it up, scale it. Don't just be all over the place. Stay consistent once every day, and then once you want to start ramping up, then increase it. But don't just say 6 times a day on Monday, once on Tuesday, 3 times on Wednesday.
Right.
You don't want to do that.
And then the other thing is with every OTO that you offer and every little product that you have out there, do offer a lifetime, 100% free, I'll help you out with this product. If you don't understand it, you paid me $17. I want to help. I don't care if you don't even know what a Gmail account is. I want to help you with it. In order to do that, I need your name, I need your phone number, I need your email address. So as they go to download that OTO, have them opt in again to this 100% free lifetime support system. And then remove them. Set up an automation rule where that removes them from all your other lists. Now you've created a buyer's list. You have their phone number if you want to call them. You can make it an option, of course. And they have a way to contact you. You give them a special email address.
Yep.
So you've created a buyer's list, and then you can stop sending out emails to those people.
Yeah, very simple, very straightforward. The automation rules in Aweber, you can look that up. That's not terribly hard to do. A couple of clicks, a couple of check boxes, and basically you're done. Yeah.
Once you get started with these systems, you just always have to remember this answer is usually there. You have to go seek it.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck and scared. Just go look for it, and I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 you'll find the answer in their help, in their FAQs, and in their support.
Yeah, you got that right. And Aweber especially is very good with that. Now, one of the things... Sorry, John, what was that?
And then you can hire any one of the 3 of us as private coaching.
That's right. One of the things that really caught my attention, I don't know, probably 2-3 months ago, one of the first times I heard about you, is this, John in particular. There was an interview I think you had, done, I think it was with David Eisner, and one of the things that caught my attention big time was this idea of banking clicks. Could you explain what that means, what banking clicks means, and I guess, how you stumbled onto that idea and why you do it?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Let's say that some of you guys in the room right now, you have small lists and you're not sure of who you could swap with. Okay, so you send me an email. You say, John, listen, I can send you 20 clicks. Will you swap with me? And I say, I can't do that because when I push a button, I'm sending out 3,000 clicks in a second. But here's what I'll do with you. I'll let you, Terry or Sam or David, I'll let you bank with me. Meaning I'll give you my swipe, and for the next month, whatever you want, take your time. Put a banner on your blog. I don't care where you do it. Send me clicks. And when you get to 100, I'll send you 100 or 110 back from the bank that you've built up to me. So that's how I got onto it. And what happened is I had a lot of small list owners that were able to now to start swapping with me, and I was getting the traffic in advance. So I was selling my OTOs, taking the money, converting it into solo ads, joining giveaway events, doing all these things to grow my list, and they were able to swap with me. So when they said, John, I got you 100, we checked the stats, I'd click the button in 5 minutes, they'd have their 110 clicked back. So it's a really good thing for small list owners. It's a great thing for large list owners as well.
Yeah, Let
me tell you, when someone with a larger list gets approached by someone with a smaller list, there was a few times where I'd reach out and I'd help some people because they actually had the bazingies to reach out to me and say, hey, I want to bank clicks with you. And when most of the time it's just people, as you start growing your list, you sometimes get replies of people saying, I have no money, can you send me $500, then I'll pay you back once I get started. I'm sure you all get those emails.
Yeah.
So when someone actually reaches out like John did to me, that's real, that makes sense, that's actually trying to help me at the same time, then guess what? You'll be surprised how many people will reach back and help pull you up when you're getting started. The key is to actually take some action and reach out if you want to start banking clicks with people.
Now, how do you guys keep track of the tracking for the manual tracking with a small list, mailing like once a day? That seems pretty straightforward. And then with safe Adswaps, I can see that. Right. I can see that definitely helping. But do you guys do? Yeah. What's that?
I use Bud URL, and I pay $49 a month for their top program, and it's a shrinker. It shrinks links and it tracks everything from raw clicks to unique clicks to whether the clicks were coming from Twitter or from an email campaign. And I simply go in there and I go, I create my long URL for one of my squeeze pages, and then I put in there BAW banking clicks, and I give her that link, and I said, look, put this anywhere. Put it on a thank you page in front of an image of my squeeze page. Mail it out to your list, whatever you want, and then I'll have those stats right in front of me. And what I suggest to her to do is also create an account at Bud URL and Bud my Bud. So now she takes the Bud URL that I give her, she buds it into John gave me this link to bank with, and she uses that so our stats match up exactly. And anytime we want to look at them, she goes, my screen shows this, boom, my screen shows that, we're good to go.
Very cool. Yeah, and then so almost everything that you need as far as this banking is tied to the technology that we've already talked about, which is awesome. And just a small conceptual shift more than anything else. Like, hey, I'm willing to accumulate clicks until you have enough where it's worth me mailing out.
And there's another side to this, okay? This is the scary side. When I really started getting a lot of clicks, like I was mailing out my list, and all of a sudden I was getting like let's say 5,000 clicks, and I was doing a 2,000 click swap, and I would go like, I'm not sending an extra 3,000 clicks to this person. They're never going to make them up. What do I do? So in a panic, I'd contact Frank, or I'd contact Charles Mutri, I'd contact his brother Philip, somebody I knew, and say, hey, can I bank 3,000 clicks with you right now? And they go, sure, man, no problem. So I'd send them the extra 3,000 clicks that were overflow, knowing that these guys have the capacity of sending them back to me on the day when they have extra clicks. So it's not only a way to just build up for the future, it's a way like, let's say you blew a partner away. Some guy says, hey, I can do a 50-click swap with you. And you go, great, 50 clicks, I can handle that. And 3 hours into the swap, he's at 4 clicks, and you're at 20. You better cut that off right then and send those extra 30 clicks somewhere to bank them, so that they're useful clicks for you.
Wow. Yeah.
So there's two sides to that.
Well, what this brings up to me again is this idea of clicks being currency and having real value, not because it's the clicks are literal value, and the reason that clicks are value is that a click is traffic, and traffic is money, right? Click to traffic, traffic to money, which is totally awesome. So that I think we've covered just about all those questions. I want to be respectful of your guys' time, and we'll really target the essential questions here in the next couple of sections. If you guys are cool, you guys still cool going forward answering these questions? This is totally awesome. This is so cool. I'm learning so much, and I know that everyone else is as well.
Sure.
Before we head up to the next cluster of questions, you guys can kind of think about this one and answer. What about removing people from your list that are junk? Like I've seen somewhere, and John, I don't remember where you mentioned this, but I think it was you, John. It might have been you, Frank, and my apologies. But one of you guys mentioned Comcast.net, and that the folks that were on Comcast, or folks that are on Comcast, are useless for some reason.
Yeah, we both mentioned that. That's the only time. In Comcast.net, 100% of all your spam complaints on any autoresponder, when you find out, they come from Comcast.net. So we just don't allow them on our list. We remove them, and we even have some code now that they can't use Comcast.net email address.
Wow.
But that's the only ones that I do remove. The other ones that say re-engage, the subscribers not. When you're at the level that we're at, where you have so many leads, your autoresponder bill is not going to get cut down that much by losing 20,000 people. I'd rather have them there for a rainy day.
Yeah. So you guys actually kind of filter those out at your size and with the volume. That definitely makes sense because the spam complaints and the issues with the autoresponder companies that you might face literally could put your entire business, your business model, in jeopardy, and that's just because of one provider or one providing service.
Yeah, Frank found that out very easily.
You can
Comcast on that.
Yeah, you can. It's because I had a lot of communication with my host, and I would just notice, hey, it's every one of these complaints is from Comcast users, and it's just some database that they use that's integrated with more than one of those spam services out there. So it's like their filters are extremely strong, and whatever it is that they use with their program, it just makes it a headache when it comes to email. And so what you can do is you can even set up rules to just block the domain entirely, and so when they opt in, they don't even get on your list. You can even do that in Mayweather.
And Paul, I just noticed that Paul just popped up. I don't believe that about Comcast. Well, Paul, I got news for you. We don't have stock in a competing company to Comcast that we're trying to hurt Comcast right now. It's a fact. What we talk about here tonight, everything we've said has been tested, thoroughly tested 2 times, 3 times. It's a fact. If you can get AWeber or get GetResponse or get anyone to give you a list of the 2% or 0.2% complaints, I guarantee you every single one of them is Comcast. You will go to 0 the minute that you get rid of your Comcast.net accounts. If you're on Comcast.net, get another email because you can't join any of our lists.
Well, I do know that there are for different email services, there are different types of filtering different types of filtering software in place, without a doubt. Yahoo, for example, Yahoo versus Gmail. I know that they treat the exact same email different ways. They have different filters in place, different tweaking and tuning of those filters in place. So I'm not surprised that you guys found that for for your offers, your list, your swapping. It might not be the case for everyone, but I got to tell you, if you guys are saying that Comcast.net is an issue, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, and that's just from the marketer's perspective. Now, I have Comcast cable, and I have an email address from Comcast, but I never use it simply because this is before I used to be list building. Before I used my Comcast originally a few years back, and there are sometimes I'm like, man, I joined a few lists and I would get some of them, but I wouldn't get everyone. So there's sometimes filters that they have in the background that you as a user don't even know that maybe they blocked out 30% of your emails, and the email never arrives simply because of the strong filter. So you are getting emails. I guarantee you there's a good chunk that are not come through at all from people that you might actually want to hear from. Yeah. So that's just a tip that we learned from dealing with server companies, hosting companies. And, it's not really a big deal. You don't have to worry about it or get scared. It's just one thing we wanted to mention.
Yeah, I use Comcast too as my I'm on Comcast right now as my provider for internet access, but not for some reason that's how it worked out.
Hey, John and Frank, a question has come up. I think it's actually come up twice now, but at least once. I want to throw the link in for safeadswaps.com/bonus for people. Now, there's a the question is that, hey, it says $35. I thought that you guys said $25. Now, that's the exact same question, John, that I asked you, and I think
they just added that $35 option. You don't need it. Do the $25 one. The $35 one lets you do some integration marketing and some other types of things that are it's more confusing than anything else, and you can always upgrade to it. You won't need it. I've never used it. The $25 is the one that you want.
Right. Cool.
I also wanted to mention Safe Adswaps lets you set up one swap per day. If you're looking to be more aggressive and maybe add another swap to your schedule on a daily basis, there's a place called, this is where actually I got started in the beginning. It's totally free. It's called IM Adswaps, and that's just the letter IM, adswaps.com. It's a totally free place. You go in there, be respectful. You get access to a secret forum, and you can set up swaps with other marketers. And it's the same thing, but it's a manual thing. That's how I got started in the beginning when I started doing ad swaps. And that's a real simple way to find other marketers to swap with when you're not doing swaps on your Safe Adswaps account.
Right. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Frank. I think this next question is awesome because it's gone through my head regarding like promotions and launches and so on, but it's applied to ad swaps, and the question is how frequently or how often can you do ad swaps with the same people? Can you swap with John? Can you and Frank, when you guys were first working with each other before you actually sort of formally tied things together, how often would you swap with Frank, John?
Well, again, it depends on a couple of things. I think that the straightforward answer is 2 to 3 times a month is about as much as you want, and that's going to depend if they have several different funnels too. You're not going to want to send the same offer to your list 2 or 3 times from that person. So if they have 2 or 3 different funnels, that's fine. And then again, you're going to kind of get the same people added to your list. So once a month is nice. Twice a month I'll always do. 3 times is cool. After that, it's really a waste.
Yeah, so if you want to stay in the safe zone, just do 2, because if you do that, guess what? All you need is 15 people. If you're doing it only once a day, you need 15 good people to swap with. And then if you want to get aggressive, you can crank it up.
Oh, and some other things, some other basic rules for ad swapping is always have an exit pop, have at least one exit pop that goes to a different type of offer, because if you send people to a PDF and they're all about software, you're going to lose them, or you might catch them on the bounce on the one exit pop. Don't have more than that; it annoys everyone. But have one exit pop from your offer.
Wow. Now, John, what about swipes? You and I talked a little bit about swipes and swipe copy Can you first explain in simple terms what swipe is? Some folks don't know. And then do you use other people's swipe or your own, or how do you handle the actual content of the emails that's being sent out?
You know, a swipe is the email that the person has provided you to send to their list, to send to your list, their email copy. Rule number one, most people suck at writing email copy, so your job is to get the most clicks possible. You want them to do well. You want to give them as many clicks because they got to match them, right? So I usually always rewrite their swipe a little bit, and if people are really sticklers about that, hey, I've split tested my swipe and it helps me convert my OTO, and hey, you know what? You feel good about it, go ahead and mail it. But I want to be a little bit more sensationalized. I believe that inboxes are full of such clutter that you have to really break through that. So and I'm doing it, again, to help my partner. I'm responsible for the clicks. I want to get them as many clicks as I possibly can. So a lot of people will write good swipe. A lot of people won't. My rule of thumb for swipe is if it's more than 5 sentences, it sucks. No one has time to read a book. You know, they're just going to click it. They're going to go, give me a break. I want to know what it is, how it benefits me, why I should do it, and I'm out of there.
Yeah.
The general rule of thumb is the longer the copy, the less clicks you're going to get. And when you're doing an ad swap, you guys are trying to swap clicks and match clicks. So the long emails, the more in-depth content is for the people you're building a relationship with. When you're trying to do an ad swap, the thing is get their interest peaked, but don't make them fall asleep in the email either. So
yeah,
longer copy equals less clicks.
It's funny. Frank's completely right. And if you believe this or not, I was on the phone on Skype with a famous, majorly famous internet marketer. Like, I bowed down, idolized. And I was going, man, you guys got it all wrong. You do not know how to swap. You do not know how to do solo. And they were cracking up in their office. And they were like, check out this newbie telling us what to do. You know what? They changed what they were doing. They go, you were right. You were 100% right. Times have changed.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense in the ad swap game and the solo game, the shorter emails, I mean, you always want the click. I mean, let's face it, you do always want the click. But you can change the value of that click with longer email. Like, I tend to write longer email. I'm not justifying the longer email. I'm not like, oh, I disagree, because I don't. The context matters. The purpose matters. And it seems pretty clear to me that if you're doing ad swaps, you're trying to get people to a free piece of content, a free piece of software, then it's like, look, go grab this free software and click. That makes sense. But if you're trying to, position yourself and, set your personality up in a certain way, and you want people to understand, cool things about you and your life and that relationship stuff, then the longer emails, in that case, make sense. So, yeah, cool stuff.
And if you have a high-priced OTO, if your OTO is, say, $100 or $197, your swipe should reflect that, because while you might have less people opt in, they're opting in specifically. You're warming them up to that process. You're leading them along. In which case, the longer swipe should be written, gearing them up to that OTO. There's 2 types of I believe people that come onto your list. One is just slam bam, you swap, you're selling them a $17 OTO, they like it, they think they can make money. The other person is someone who has a problem or they have a need, and you've now shown them that you can provide the solution to that problem and that need. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, my God, I feel fat, look at this, John has this, I can lose weight now, just download this PDF. And that person is much more inclined to spend more money on an OTO that will then automate that losing weight process, where he can still go to the refrigerator and eat and lose weight. He'll pay that $197. So in which case, I want to warm him up with that longer swipe coming in, where I'll take less people opting in, but I'll have a higher conversion of my OTO.
Cool. Very cool. That's a great explanation. I'm looking at these questions here, and pretty much everything has been answered one way or another. Like, you know, the exchange of money, how to invest money. Like we've talked about the safeadswaps.com, the link there for folks if they want to automate things. You know, the solo ads, the best ad swap websites. Frank gave that resource, the Adswaps.com resource. Thank you, Frank. I'm looking here at you know, sites to avoid. Are there any websites or any swaps or anything to avoid? Are there any landmines? Anything that we really have to be worried about here with ad swaps?
Well, just be careful that when you're not. There's a lot of people that own traffic exchanges and sites like that want to do a swap. Just be sure that you're swapping equal currency, like we talked about in the beginning. If you're swapping equal currency, then you're going to be fine.
And remember, a quick way to tell is once you start doing ad swaps, you can see how your squeeze page converts. You know, usually per swap, and then when you see it tank to 2%, as an ex-safe list owner, I can tell you a 1% opt-in equals safe list traffic. Right. So that's easy way to tell. 0.5% to 1% is safe list / traffic exchange traffic. So if you're converting at 35%, and next thing you know, you see those types of that type of number, then you know, hey, guess what? They're sending you, you know, traffic from sources other than their email list. Now,
is that traffic any good for anything? I mean,
yes, it is. It's good for creating opt-ins for your own list. I used to use those sites daily and generate hundreds of opt-ins a month just from using safe lists and traffic exchanges.
Gotcha.
I could easily build a list of 500 people. I can say back then easily within 30 days by being aggressive and using many sites at one time. So they do work. I actually used to buy stuff from things on there, and my first commission I ever generated was from promoting a product on SafeList, believe it or not.
Wow.
The thing sold for $47, and I earned $23.50.
Wow.
That was my first commission ever from my friend Bob the Teacher way back in 2006.
Very cool.
So there are buyers on there, but just know that it's a lot more work, and it just takes consistent activity when you're using those type of advertising sites.
Very, very cool. And like I said, guys, I looked at the questions just a little while ago, you know, while you were answering some of the questions. I kind of scanned through, and we've covered pretty much every critical question here. And what I'd like to do is just make sure that we've answered all the, you know, essential, I'll call them the essential questions that that folks who are listening, you know, make sure that those essential questions are answered. I think we've answered most of them, though. I've either answered them quickly privately because they were, you know, private kind of questions. But let's see here. Oh, Bob actually asked. This is one that popped out at me a little bit here. For solo ads, or really ad swaps, it doesn't really matter now that I look at this. But for solo ads, does it matter if your OTO is only a resale rights product, or should it be your own merchandise you created? I mean, I think you answered that, John, but it's probably worthwhile because I know that some folks did jump on late. Can you just kind of give the rundown on what kind of products make sense for an OTO?
Well, you know, my theory is this, is that don't talk about it. So if I tell you that you should get some PLR product or some MRR product, and then go in there and redo each of the affiliate links to make them your affiliate link and take it, you're never going to do it. So I recommend you just buy something that's already done, put it up there, and then in your spare time, if you want to change it and make it your own and give it your own little flash, then go ahead, by all means. Yes, that's the ultimate way, because then it has a viral effect and it has some other monetary effect as well. The OTO is, if it's congruent with the product in some way, you're going to have higher sales. You know, to sell someone a piece of software in the dog training niche, and then have them 25 PLR products and making money, it's like, you know, where's the congruency there? So try to be somewhat congruent with your OTO.
Yeah, that alignment is big. It doesn't matter what kind of market you're in or what kind of marketing you're doing, what kind of salesmanship that we'd be talking about. The alignment, the congruity, as John labels it, is really, really essential. And I'm looking back through. I really do think we've answered just about every question. And so I'd like to ask you guys just like 2 wrap-up questions. I do advise everyone here to stay on. We got a couple more questions, and then I'll cover a couple other things. So stay on, and I'll explain what happens next. So the first of 2 questions, guys, is this. What's the number one thing that you would advise? What's the number one thing regarding getting started with Adswaps? What's the number one thing that you'd recommend that people do right now?
I recommend joining the program we recommended earlier, Safe Adswaps, even if you have no list. And also, after you do that, start learning, looking around at the site. And the main thing you want to do is get your list up to over 100 people as quickly as possible so that you can start setting up swaps with people on Safe Adswaps. Now, there's several ways to do that. We can't cover that in this call. One of the main things to do is like John said, you can do Twitter, you can do social sites, you can do safe list advertising, viral list builders. There's many different sites you can join, and I can guarantee you, if you take action on those type of sites, you can build your list to over 100 in less than 30 days. Trust me, you can do it if you start setting up sending traffic to those type of sites.
Yeah, I would recommend the same thing Frank said. I was going to say join the site, the Save Adswaps /bonus as to one thing. But since he's already said that, here's another real cool thing to do is go get another email account. Make it a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, very specific to this reason. And then go online tonight, and I mean just Google all kind of things and sign up for every single list you could possibly sign up with this new email address, and look and see what's being sent to you. Look it over. Look. You'll see what's working, what's not working. You'll see what catches your eye, what doesn't catch your eye. And that's all good intel and information for when you are really in the game. You go, you know what? That one email really stood out at me. That one sucked. That one was too long. And, again, I recommend you set up a new email account for that because you'll get bombarded.
Yeah, it's funny that
when you join.
Frank, please.
When you join any of these, what they call free ad sites, like John said, use a separate Gmail account so that you don't go, having ads go to your personal email account. And these sites do work, guys. One easy one to join is, everybody knows it, is Viral URL. It's been around for years. That's a viral list builder. Another site, I'll give you 2. Once you join 2, you'll find other ones throughout that site. Another one is, I used to own this one. I've since sold it. It's called listeffects.com, LISTEFFECTS, listeffects.com. Once you join those two sites will lead you to other advertising sites where you can promote for free, send your ad to other members, and you can start generating clicks to your squeeze page.
Oh, and listen, I'm sorry, and John, I didn't mean to do this. This is a shameless plug, okay? This is shameless, but we should have said this a long time ago. There's a site that Frank and I barely spend any time on. It's no cost to join. If you want to pay $10, you can then brand the PDF and send it out. But it's a very beginner site. Frank, we forgot about it. That Frank and I own. It's called allaboutviralmarketing.com. And it's not a list builder site, but it gives a few PDFs on how to build your list. It's free to join. And if you want to just go ahead and rebrand a PDF while you're there and use that as a product, I forgot all about that. There's cartoons of Frank and I, him as the teacher and me as the student. But it's a really good beginner, basic
awesome
playground for people to play when they want to get into the swapping game.
Very cool.
Another site to generate traffic, if you're trying to send traffic to your squeeze page, is a site called Quick List Profits. Just the way it sounds, Quick List Profits. You can get there. It's a great site. It's got thousands of members. You can email those members a few times a week, and that's another site by our good friend Kim Robinson. If you want to check that out.
Very cool. And what was the? I missed the other one. I was listening.
It's all about viral marketing.
All about viral marketing. Okay, all about viralmarketing.com. That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that wraps it up, folks. And like I said, you want to hang on for just a minute. And thanks Frank, thanks John, thanks to everyone. Take care.